Hello and welcome. So our newest time-limited light chase has been announced, and it's time to once again talk about money and whether to pull from that banner. The reason we talk about this over and over is because we're playing a collection gotcha game, and collection gotcha games, whether you're playing like a hero collection game or like us playing a dress-up collection game, the gotcha collection games are overwhelmingly expensive. If you go for 100% collection, you can expect to spend thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars. And therefore, many people like me don't go for 100% collection, and we have to decide which banners to pull from and which banners to skip. And to do that, we have to ask ourselves 3 questions. It seems like one of the questions should be, is the suit pretty? And surprisingly, that's not one of the questions, because the answer is almost always yes. It's the job of the art department to create beautiful suits, and they do. They do their job brilliantly. They create these beautiful suits that then we want to purchase. But we have to remember, how do we play the game? What is our creative gameplay? As players, we very rarely wear the entire suit. We take the different pieces of the suit and we make our own OG outfits, and we make our own OG characters. So you have to actually look beyond the beauty of the suit, and you have to look beyond the beauty of the marketing material, because the marketing material itself is also very beautiful. And see the individual pieces of the suit and see if you would actually use them as you create your own outfits and your own characters. So this is not one of the questions you would ask, which is unexpected. The first question you want to ask yourself is, will I use the individual pieces of the suit as I create my OG outfits and OG characters? The second question you would ask yourself is it worth the money? And the third question is there something else that I want more? And this is your wish list. And we're going to go over each of these questions. We're going to begin with the first one. Will I use the individual pieces of the suit as I create my OG outfits and my OG characters? To illustrate our creative gameplay, we're going to go look at my game. I can only speak for myself, but when I am creating in the game, I do one of 2 things. I will put together an outfit that makes me feel something. It's a mood. And then other times I create characters who have backstories. For example, let's go into the wardrobe here. This angel right here, she has no backstory. She doesn't have a name. There's nothing going on here, but she has a mood. She has a feeling. I feel things when I look at this picture. It makes me happy to look at it. I think she looks really cool. So this is a feeling that I get when I create some of my characters, some of my outfits. And then others are characters that I create that have backstories. For example, my girl here, she's all dressed up to go on a date. And then my girl here, she's heading to work. She's got a little bit more of a backstory. She's an artist. She's heading to work with a client, and she's looking nice, but she's also looking hip and cool. So she's got more of a story. And the reason I do this, I compare it from me. This is just me. Like I said, I can only speak for myself. But for me, when I watch a movie or I read a book, I get to live another life for a hot second. For example, one of my favorite books is Fever Pitch by Nick Hornby. I don't watch British football, English football. I'm not a football fan. But for 250 pages, while I read Fever Pitch, I got to be an Arsenal football fan. Nick Hornby did such a good job of making the reader feel the emotions, live the life of being an Arsenal football fan, that for 250 pages, I was an Arsenal football fan. I got to step into another person's life, another person's feelings, and it was awesome, and I loved it. I love that book. I don't know about the movie. I haven't watched the movie. The book is amazing. And that's what it is like this with these characters. So I'm married. I'm in my 50s. But for just a hot second, just a moment, a tiny moment, while I made this outfit, I got to be 22 getting ready for a date. And it was amazing. And I loved it. So it's really fun whether you're watching a movie, reading a book, or us playing this game. just to be a different person, to jump into a different body, just for a moment and live that life. So that's one of my creative gameplays that I do, is I make these characters, I give them a backstory, and I get to be them for just a second. And it's lovely. It's a little vacation for the mind and for the feelings too, the emotions. And then other times I'm creating a mood. With clothes you can create both just a mood, and you can create a story with clothes. Just like Nick Hornby created a story with words that you could fall into. Like I said, for 250 pages, I got to be an Arsenal football fan, and it was so much fun. You can do that with clothes too, and that's what we do. So that's our creative gameplay. So when you're deciding whether to pull from a banner or not, when you look at this, I'm going to use me as an example. I actually wouldn't use this outfit. It is beautiful. I am not saying it's not beautiful. It is just beautiful. But I wouldn't actually use it. Now, you might be different. You might go, oh my gosh, I have such a connection to mermaids. I would use that outfit all the time. Or I want to make a queen of the sea. Or I'm going to make a water elf. There might be you might have a strong connection to this dress that I don't. But for me, I'm not going to pull for it, because I wouldn't actually create any OG outfit, or I would not create an OG character with this, even though it's gorgeous. So that's the first question you have to ask yourself. Let's look at the second question. Oops, before we move on to the second question, I wanted to show you another example of looking at the individual pieces. Okay, so once again, this is another mood, right? We have a completely different color palette. This is going to speak to people who love Gothic stuff, and that's me. I do love Gothic. But once again, look past the color palette, look past the mood, especially as the color palette, you can change it, right? We can dye our clothes. You need to look at the individual pieces. And what I want to look at and show you are those stockings. Let's look at a better picture of the stockings. These are the only torn stockings I know of in the game. There might be another set and I don't know about it, but these are the only ones I know of. So once again, let's talk about our creative gameplay. If you want to create an edgy character, if you want to create a Mad Max post-apocalyptic character, or if you want to, let's go for mood. Say you want to invoke the mood of 80s punk, or let's say that you're making a La Femme Nikita character. Well, these are great stockings for all of those, and I don't know of any other torn stockings in the game. So when you're looking at the overall picture, look beyond the suit, look beyond the feeling that it's creating, look beyond the color palette, and decide whether you can use those pieces for your OG characters and your OG outfits. I want to use another example. This is the 4-star outfit that's going to drop out of Ocean's Promise. I love this shirt, but I love 70s fashion. And this is a handkerchief shirt. And they've taken that 70s handkerchief shirt and created something beautiful with that as the inspiration. I love the off-the-shoulder long sleeves. And like I said, I love the handkerchief part of itself. I love it so much that I'm going to pull enough dupes that I can recolor it. I also love the waist chain. That's a total 90s thing. It started showing up in the late 80s, was super hot in the 90s. So this is just my vibe. So there's not another handkerchief shirt. Going back to the stockings, those are the only torn stockings I know of in the game. This is the only handkerchief shirt I know of in the game. And so I will definitely be pulling for that. But I also want to talk about this beret. We've only been playing, the game has been open for a little over a month, 40 days or something like that. We already have 4 berets. Here we are back in game, and we look at the hats. Let's count berets, shall we? So many berets. Here's 1. There's 2. Here's 3. And there's 1 I haven't got yet. We're in hard mode of chapter 11. And if we look at the chapter pack in the upper right hand corner, you can see I haven't gotten that last beret right here. 4 berets in just over a month. So I don't really need that beret. Now I'll be pulling for that shirt. I'll be pulling enough dupes for that shirt to recolor it because I love that shirt so much. So of course I'm going to get the beret, but I don't need it. We have so many berets. So look at the individual pieces and think of what we already have in game. How many black stockings do you need? That's how many berets do we need? Especially since we can recolor. So as you're looking at the individual pieces of the suit, looking beyond the beauty of the suit, looking beyond the feeling the suit makes you feel just from the colors and the way it's put together and the marketing material, will you use the individual pieces of the suit to create your OG outfits and your OG characters? All right, let's move on to the second question. The second question you have to ask is it worth the money? And I'm going to use the upcoming, Ocean's Promise as an example of how to answer this. I'm going to answer it for myself just as an illustration. So you already know how much I love this shirt. So this outfit is the 4-star outfit that will drop out of the PAV. So being the least rare of the outfits, it will drop first. That means this shirt is going to drop really fast. Also, the dupes I need for it will drop really fast. Since Ocean's Promise is a 6-star PAV, we will get 18 free pulls. The chance of me getting this shirt in the first 18 free pulls is huge. Now, I still might have to put in another 10, maybe 20 pulls to make sure they get enough dupes so I can recolor the shirt. Like I said, I love it so much I want to recolor it. So is this one worth the money? Absolutely. It will drop really fast. This is my Malaysian Singapore account. It's the free-to-play. And with the 18 free pulls, I happened to get the dolphins. So let's pull those dolphins up. And they're awesome. I love them. I would love to get these. Now, hopefully this will drop fairly quickly. Also, I don't have to worry about recolor. You need dupes to recolor. I don't really have to worry about recolor because I like them being blue. I don't really need red or pink dolphins. I'm okay with not being able to recolor them. So say I've pulled enough and I have got my shirt, my handkerchief shirt. I've pulled enough dupes and now I can recolor my handkerchief shirt. I might put in another 10 or 20 pulls just to try to get these dolphins because they'll be kind of in the middle somewhere is when these will drop. If they haven't dropped while I was waiting for the shirt, I might actually try to pull for these too. But I don't know when they'll drop. If they are taking too long to drop, or I might change my mind. We'll see. This is when I'll make that decision on the day. I'd love to get them, but I don't know if they'll be a little farther on than I want to pay. So, like I said, I'll make that decision on the day of. The last item that I love that's dropping out of this PAV is this little snowflake. It twirls in her hands and it sparkles and it's so pretty. However, it's a decomp item. So when you get dupes, when you decompose them, first you're going to get material to unlock all of the palettes so you can recolor your outfits, you can recolor your clothes. Then once you've unlocked all the palettes, then when you get dupes, you will get currency that you can use to buy these items, the dress, the bucket hat, and the little snowflake. So this is one of the last items that you'll get. You'll have to get so many dupes that not only will you have unlocked all the color palettes, but you'll even have dupes on top of that, and you'll start to get decomp currency. Oh, wait, no, wait. I'm so sorry. I said that wrong. You get decomp currency when you get them at the same time. When you decompose, you get decomp currency, and at the same time, you are also able to unlock color palettes. I'm so sorry. I had old information still in my head. Haven't cleared that out yet. So you have to get dupes to get decomp currency. So I don't think that I'll get enough decomp currency to get this little star, this little snowflake, and it cost way too much. Way too much. So that I'd have to get so many dupes to afford this. And so this is not something that I will get. If I was going to pull so I had enough decomp currency, I'd probably be spending about $100. And I don't want to spend that much on this PAV. I want to save my money for another PAV. So, and also there's something very similar to this in the game. Here in game, there at the bottom, we're going to go to Ally. And then when you evolve an SSR or SR ally, you get an item as a reward. We're going to go to Gerald right here and go to evolve at the bottom. And you get this item right here when you evolve him. He drops out of the permanent path. I've already had him drop for me once. I'm going to have to wait for him to drop again to evolve him. And I might have to wait, I don't know, 5 months, 6 months, 7 months. I'm okay with waiting. That's just time. That's not diamonds. That's not cash. I'll wait. And it drops this little item that when you evolve him, you get this little item that it moves and it sparkles. It's not a snowflake, but it's still really pretty, and it's something that's in her hands. So there's a similar item to the snowflake, and I don't have to pay $100 for it. So handkerchief shirt drops first. Shouldn't cost me too much. I'll probably even start to be getting it on during the free pulls. Definitely worth the money. Dolphins, we'll see how the pulling's going. As I pull for the shirt, we'll see how things are dropping for the 6-star set, and see if it's worth it to continue putting another 10 or 20 in to try to get the dolphins. If that one's maybe worth the money, I'll decide on the day. The snow is a decomp item. I have to pull enough dupes to have enough decomp currency to afford the snowflakes. I really expect that. Like, I'm not going to have anywhere near enough dupes to do that. Not worth the money. So that's the second question you have to ask yourself. Is it worth the money? Now, these, of course, these are my taste, my aesthetic, what I like. I'm just using myself as to illustrate the point. You'll have to answer these questions for yourself as you decide what pieces you want to pull for in order to make your OG outfits and your OG characters. All right, let's go to the last question. Is there something else that I want more? And this is your wish list. I don't remember who made it. Let's go take a look. Hopefully it'll say. I didn't see anywhere there was an author for this. It's a tier. It's on Tier Maker, and it's a quick and dirty way to make your wish list. Let's go take a look at that. There will be a link to this in the description, and it has all of the suits in it. Oops, there we go. All of the suits in it except for our most recent one, the one that's going on right now, the Witch one and Nyx, Morgana and Nyx. Those suits aren't in here, but all the other suits that have shown up on the Malaysian Singapore server are on here. And this is where you can make your list. For example, this one I'm not interested in at all, so it goes down there. Unfortunately, I'm not really interested in the Asian suits. I just don't use them. I'm Western, and so the East Asian mythology doesn't really resonate with me because I didn't grow up with it. So those tend to be no thanks for me. I go for more Western mythology and Western looks. But ones like, oh my gosh, I love the Christmas one, but that's because I love Christmas. Oops, no, baby, you need to go right there. I love that one so much. Another one that I adore is this one. These two go together. This is one 5-star. These are 2 5-star suits that drop out of a single pav. Right here, I will definitely be pulling that pav to completion. I'm so excited for that pav. And then, for example, this pav that we're just having, I don't hate it. There's some pieces like the dolphins, love it. The hair, oh, gorgeous. However, the overall suit is just not worth the money that I would have, the diamonds, the cash that I would have to lay out in order to get that hair and perhaps the dolphins. I'm really hoping to get the dolphins. I like the dolphins a little more than the hair. But it's just not worth the money for me. I don't want to spend that because there's suits that I want more. I want to save my diamonds. I want to save my cash because I do pay a little. I'm like a dolphin, a whale, dolphin, minnow. So I played MMOs forever, and you have to pay a subscription fee when you play an MMO, so I'm used to paying a monthly fee for my games, so I don't mind paying a little bit of money. I'm down with that. So, but if you're free to play, that's a totally valid choice as well. If you're a whale, that's a valid choice. There is no judgment here, no shade. Whatever's right for you, whatever's right for your income, whatever's right for your disposable income, however you spend responsibly. All that's important is that you do spend responsibly when we play these games. Anyways, so as you see, since there's other things that I want more, then I'm going to skip this one. Even though there's some pieces in it that I like, I would still skip it because there's other banners that I want to absolutely not only pull to completion, but I want to be able to pull enough dupes, especially for this one right here. I want to pull enough dupes that I can recolor the outfit. So, actually, I did this whole thing. I've already saved it. I made a tier maker account so I could save mine. But I'll put a link to this in the description. It's a very quick and dirty way to make your wish list. And make your wish list so you can decide. This is so important when you're deciding what to skip to save your diamonds, save your money, and so you can decide which banners you want to pull from. So that's all of our questions. I hope this video was helpful. I do realize that I kind of go on and on about this particular topic, and that's because I was a whale in Shining Nikki, and I realized that it didn't give me the satisfaction and the happiness that I thought it would. Obviously, I love dress-up games, obviously. So I think spending money on dress-up games is totally valid. Like, I do it. Like I said, if you're free to play, that's totally valid too. And if you're a whale, like, no shade, nowhere. But for me, whaling didn't make me, it wasn't worth the money. It's a balance. You know, how much money you spent, how much enjoyment do you get out of it? That scale did not balance. And so as I start Life Makeover, I'm not whaling, and I'm also trying to help other people see it through the eyes of somebody who whaled. And I really want to be helpful to the community, and I feel like this is the best way I can be helpful. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me. Good luck with everything. Oh, one more thing I wanted to talk about. So you saw the little dolphins. They're so cute. Gosh, I hope I get those. But when you look at the material, the marketing material, you can't see the dolphins very well. When you're deciding what to pull from, It's Lucille has suit breakdown videos as well as suit pulling videos, and you can see the individual pieces of the suit. I'm going to put a link to her YouTube channel, so when you're trying to decide what to pull from, you can actually go look at the suit pieces over on It's Lucille's YouTube channel. Also, I'm going to put a link to Tiff's Tofu Burgers. I'm going to put a link to Tiff's lens stump. She has larger pictures of all the suits as you decide what you want to pull and what you want to skip. And I wish you guys all the best. And remember, you wouldn't, I always say this, but that's because I'm a whale. I got all those beautiful outfits, all of them, and I only used maybe 25-30% of my wardrobe. So like 70% of my wardrobe just stayed in the wardrobe. I didn't ever use it, even though I spent the money to get it. So when you look at this beautiful dress, it is so pretty. And I've already been there. Like, I would have pulled for this in Shining Nikki. I realized that I won't ever actually style with it. Now you may, this is just me, you may look at that and go, huh, I'm going to make so many things with that dress. So it's just your aesthetic. And remember, it can be beautiful, beautiful, and you'll spend your money on it, and then it'll just sit in your closet. So always think, what do I create? What outfits do I create? What characters do I create? And what clothes do I need to create those outfits and characters? What is my creative gameplay? All right, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll talk to you guys later. All right, bye-bye.